Come this way. Okay, let's get you.
Ah.
So this is the scanner.
Yes.
If you just have a seat there.
I'm here in a lab in Oxford's Nuffield Hospital to find out why we love the taste of sugar so much, and why it would have been such a hit when people first tasted it in the 17th century.
Let me just take you up.
Morten Klingenbach is researching sugar's effects on the brain. He's been experimenting with all kinds of food, but he has found that sugar creates a lot of activity in certain parts of the brain known as pleasure zones, or hedonic hotspots.
All right, we're ready out here.
These areas of the brain are responsible for making us feel good in response to our actions. Now, I know I shouldn't be drinking a chocolate milkshake, but it's only a small amount, and I'm in the best possible place if anything goes wrong.
Now, if you look at that with an MRI scanner, you find that this part of the brain, just over the eyeballs, so just about 2 centimeters in, just over your eyeballs, is the part of the brain that seems to encode how pleasant something is. And that seems, at least in humans, to be the most important part that allows us to feel whether something is nice or nasty. Throughout modern human history, what you find is that anything you would eat could potentially kill you. Right. So we have to have ways of controlling what it is that we put in our mouth. There are only 5, maybe 6 receptors on the tongue, and only one of them is really nice, and that is the sweet receptor. So it's about making sure that what we do is something that not only will provide us pleasure, but is also safe.
Means I have to go for regular checkups, which I dread, because diabetes, as well as making me more vulnerable to the more serious life-threatening health problems, can have some really nasty side effects.
Shall we have a look at your feet and see what's what?
Oh, please do.
Good. So what we're going to do is just check your pulses, just to see what the blood supply is like to the foot. And you've got good pulses, so that's good news.
Well, that's good news.
So the key thing with feet is if you can avoid an ulcer. If you develop ulcers, it's more difficult for them to heal and puts you at more risk of amputation.
Right.
Okay.
Your eyes can reveal a lot about how your diabetes is progressing.
Eyes wide.
A retinal scan measures the blood vessels at the back of the eye for the danger signs.
So, Graham, can you tell us what my eye is showing up, if anything?
Yes, the eye looks very good. There's really no signs of any diabetes-related change here, so that's good news. That's normal.
That's normal?
That's normal, yeah, that's normal.
Going through what I just went through just now always makes you nervous, especially when you get the retinal scan, as if they do discover something there.
The doctor's going to show me the results any diabetic would dread. Fortunately, today at least, it's not my eye we're looking at.
Sometimes the whole eye might fill with blood and they just totally lose their vision, and that can happen just in a matter of seconds.
And this is all sugar-induced, is that what
Yes.
it is? All sugar-induced?
Yeah.
So even though I'm conscious that I could go blind or risk amputation, I admit that I don't manage my diet as well as I could. Tony Goldstone is carrying out a research project into why we find it so hard to control what we eat. I'm going to be one of his guinea pigs.
You can see here's his brain. It takes about 2 to 3 seconds to scan the whole brain in about 44 slices.
While a scanner monitors my brain activity, Tony's making me look at pictures of all sorts of mouth-watering food. It's torture, particularly as he's forbidden me from eating breakfast beforehand.
So from what you've observed of me, what were my responses like?
We saw that you found the high-calorie foods quite appealing when you were fasted, and that's in agreement with our previous studies.
Right.
So we bias our brain towards those high-calorie sweet foods, particularly when we're fasted. I think in general, the vast majority of us are inclined to like sugary foods. Most of us like sugary foods. We've evolved that way, and there'd be no point evolving a brain that went after lettuce the whole time. We wouldn't have survived.
Which is why we would have embraced sugar. I mean, when the sugar rush came, we would have just embraced it big
Yeah,
time and thought,
yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
here it is, heaven.
Yeah, yeah.
And of course, we're living with the consequences of that as a result.
The trouble, of course, now is we're in a toxic environment where these sweet, high-calorie foods are all around us, and therefore we're hardwired to like them, but now they're much more readily available, they're cheap, and so we consume them in ever-increasing quantities.
Are our bodies actually working against us?
Yes, I think they are. Our bodies are trying to defend our body weight. So we are hardwired to like these sugary foods, and our bodies will do everything it can to keep our body weight where it's at, and it'll do that by making us want and like the high-calorie sugary foods more. So every time we try and cut down on those foods, as we need to lose weight or to treat diabetes, our bodies are conspiring against us, sometimes not necessarily consciously. We may not even be aware of it.
But where's the alarm system that you would think would be in the brain to say, too much? Do we have an alarm system in the brain?
We maybe don't. We maybe don't.
So we have absolutely no control mechanism to lose weight. It's a one-way trade. I can't stop, and it's not my fault. What a catastrophic bit of evolutionary hardwiring. From the survival of the fittest to the survival of the fattest. It meant that as soon as we had more calories available to us than we needed, we were doomed.